Hi everyone. My name is Ava and I'm 22 years old. You might be wondering how someone my age ended up living with her uncle, especially given what I'm about to share. Honestly, I never saw this coming either. I'm a graphic design student, spending most of my time sketching, designing, and working on freelance projects. Life has been anything but easy, especially after my parents divorced when I was younger. Moving from place to place in search of stability became my reality. And eventually, I found myself staying with my Uncle Nathan. It wasn't part of the plan, but sometimes life takes unexpected turns. Before I dive into the details, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing you more incredible true stories. Stay until the end of this video and hit the like button if you enjoy it. Trust me, this story is about to get really interesting. How it all began. Everything started when my mom had to leave for work, and I needed a place to stay while finishing college. Nathan, my uncle, was the only family member available to take me in. He's been married to his wife Victoria for a few years now, and they live in a gorgeous countryside home, far from the city's noise. I assumed this would be just another temporary stay, a quiet, uneventful place where I could focus on my studies. But I was wrong. A few months later, I had settled into a routine, growing accustomed to the house and the peaceful atmosphere. Or so I thought. But today something happened. Something I need to talk about. It all started when I walked into Nathan's room while he was asleep. But before I get to that, let me tell you a little more about him. Nathan. More than just an uncle. Nathan has never been like a typical uncle to me. He's always felt more like a mentor, someone I looked up to. Growing up, he taught me how to ride a bike, fix things around the house, and even bought me my first car when I turned 18. So, when my mom needed someone to take me in, choosing Nathan felt natural. He's thoughtful, patient, and incredibly kind. But this wasn't just about him. I was also moving in with his wife, Victoria. She had been in his life for a while, and they tied the knot 2 years ago. At first, I wasn't sure how I felt about her. She was older than Nathan, and something about her made me feel out of place in their home. At the beginning, I stayed in the guest room at the far end of the house, trying my best not to intrude. With time, things became less awkward. Victoria even started offering me advice, little things about cooking, cleaning, and running a household. We weren't exactly close, but the tension eased a little. I thought everything was settling down, until I noticed something that left me completely unsettled. A shift I couldn't ignore. The more time I spent around Nathan, the more I felt something I couldn't quite explain. His smiles, the casual brush of his hand, the way his gaze lingered when he thought I wasn't looking, it all felt different. At first, I convinced myself it was nothing, just my imagination running wild. But every moment we were alone, the air between us felt thick with something unspoken. There was a pull, a tension that I couldn't escape. I know what you're probably thinking. Ava, what are you saying? He's your uncle. Believe me, I've told myself the same thing over and over. Sounds ridiculous. But no matter how much I tried to ignore it, that strange connection between us was undeniable. The moment everything changed. One evening after dinner, I was in my room working on a project. Victoria had gone out with friends, and Nathan had been napping for hours. The house was silent. Then I heard footsteps in the hallway. First, I didn't think much of it. But then I heard the faint creak of a door. His bedroom door. Froze. For a moment, I debated whether I should just let him rest or check on him. But something I can't explain, drew me toward that room. Quietly, I stepped forward. I pushed the door open carefully, trying not to make a sound. Nathan lay on his back, one arm tucked behind his head, his chest rising and falling in steady rhythm. The soft light from the window stretched across his face, casting long shadows that made him look almost statuesque, distant, untouchable. For a moment I just stood there, my pulse quickening. I wasn't sure why I had come in. Maybe I wanted to talk, or maybe I just needed a moment of quiet, away from my racing thoughts. But then crash. A small vase on the bedside table tipped over, shattering into delicate pieces against the hardwood floor. My breath caught as Nathan stirred, his eyelids fluttering before he slowly blinked awake. His gaze locked onto mine, dazed at first, then laced with confusion. "Ava." His voice was thick with sleep, rough around the edges. "What are you doing here?" Heat rushed to my face as I scrambled for an explanation. I didn't mean to wake you," I stammered. My throat felt dry. Nathan sat up, rubbing the sleep from his eyes before flashing a small, amused smile. "It's okay," he said, voice softer now. "You look like you have something on your mind." I hesitated. Maybe I did. Lately, everything had felt off-kilter, like the ground beneath me wasn't steady. My mother was away, college was overwhelming, and I found myself seeking comfort in the familiar. This house, this routine, the people around me. My voice faltered. I exhaled slowly, sitting down on the edge of the bed. "I don't know. I guess I just needed to talk." Nathan watched me for a moment, something unreadable flickering in his expression. Then he patted the space beside him. "Then talk," he said warmly. "I'm here." The room felt heavy, charged with something I couldn't quite name. The silence stretched, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was the kind that invited words, the kind that made you feel like you weren't alone. I swallowed hard and took a breath. It was time to say what had been on my mind for too long.